Can you tell a brand apart from another without saying its name or describing the service? Look at this triangle, for example. One of the most powerful shapes in nature has come to represent a brand. PepsiCo has launched a no-ad campaign. A no-ad ad campaign. It consists of a YouTube ad that shows images of triangles and other imagery that relates to the Doritos chip, with the last words of the video saying "on another level." There's another triangle that isn't as iconic as Dorito brand, but rather is owned by the first patented logo. Bass Brewery, first founded in 1777, years later would be the first legally patented logo under the UK's Trademark Registration Act of 1875. The official act was a compromise and a continuation of the Merchandise Marks Act in 1862, only 13 years prior. The Merchandise Act made it illegal to infringe upon one's identity and to try to falsely guise their goods and services as someone else's. The trademark registration was the first to require full registration of one's logo to claim ownership in court. This was not required for companies to trade goods and services, but in time it became common practice to secure one's logo. So, what's all this fuss over a logo for? And why was there even the need to design a trademark logo? So that when trading goods or services or whatever it be at the time, you could see that insignia and say, well, that's probably good stuff. There was a sense of legitimacy to it. The branding, the minting itself. With cattle, brands and different symbols will be used to signify who had ownership. Before the Industrial Revolution and means of mass production were available, artisans had a way to brand their work. There would often be a mark left by the owner that signified who had made the object. A blacksmith might make a notch of a crest, or a cobbler might impress a small pattern in the inner lay of a shoe. There is inherent value to a name, of reputation, and to steal its name is to steal or cheapen the value. Metalsmiths would create a specific crest commissioned by noble families to signify a distinction of class throughout the Middle Ages. So, how did these logos evolve to what they are now? In 1366, Stella Artois was the first to use a company logo. Advertising was nothing next to what we have today. It was not until 1704 when the Boston News became the first newspaper to regularly print advertisements. Many companies were using logos at the time, began to use the new platform to advertise a name that was more than just word of mouth. Advertisements evolved with this. We see laws come into play, like the Trademark Act, for example, that we talked about earlier. In 1810, Johann Wolfgang published The Theory of Colors. His theories on color psychology were largely discredited by the scientific community at the time, but he grabbed the attention of others with his theories. So far, we have logos coming in to be popularized enough to where they need to be protected by law. And new advances in technology like chromatography or color printing arrived on the scene in 1837 and would be used to print on metal containers inside magazines, on posters, and other such media. In 1907 came screen printing, to be able to print on different surfaces, like t-shirts. All the while, ads and advertisements are changing with styles of the time. They're constantly adapting to these new forms of media. In 1941, there's the first televised advertisement. In contemporary times, we have Facebook created in 2004, Twitter in 2006, Instagram 2016. All these different platforms are available for ad space. Twitter businesses are able to use logos and icons to create quippy or witty remarks. Wendy's, for example, has even made a diss track in recent years. It's insane the interaction that comes from places that you wouldn't ordinarily think. YouTube, founded originally in 2005, taken on by Google in 2006, would 1 year later begin to have ads on their site. We see advertisements from businesses and companies. We see advertisements continue to adapt, change, and update with the times they're in, adapting to new forms of media that have become available to them. We see them as we're scrolling up and down Instagram, looking on videos on YouTube. Ads have become so invasive that this new Doritos no ad campaign is sort of appealing to this new generation of people that are sort of fed up with this overt advertisement. I don't think in the long run that Doritos will actually forgo their own branding, but it is a bit refreshing to see company and business trying to do something else with advertisement.
No one cares about that shit these days, or some do, but